Now that was refreshing. It is incredibly hot outside, and boy, it sure is nice to be a redneck. But we're not done, we gotta keep going. We're almost there. I gotta make it through this small little creek. For some reason, I was stunting for the gram, and I brought the worst pair of boots for this. But whatever, I don't care. We'll take our boots off and we'll walk through the creek, shall we? Shall we? Now the only downside is you got fucking morons out here that leave like hooks and fishing line and stuff like that, so it kind of becomes treacherous for anybody else that wants to have a good time. So don't be that guy, eh?
Oh, how my heart aches. You keep blowing me out, I keep holding you in.
So I figured today I'd come out, take the drone, come have some fun, and sit and chill, relax, and just answer some questions today. I have to admit, this drone is so much fun. I've never seen the world in this kind of perspective before, and I absolutely love it. If you haven't got one, check out the drone. It's a DJI. I've had it for a couple months now. Got it in the winter, actually. It's my second one because the first one ended up in a snowbank. So I asked you guys earlier this week, either on my Twitter or on my Discord, if you guys had any questions, anything that you wanted me to answer or just get off your chest. And boy, you guys did just that. I got a number of questions, comments, and just concerns, if you will, in regards to content, life, and putting it all together. So I wanted to answer a few of them right now. The Green Bastard asks, how do you feel about having to pivot from character to character, then back to yourself? Is it easy to leave that person at work and just be you sometimes? It's kind of an easy one. I'm pretty much the same guy all the time. One thing that my wife and my son kind of always say about me is that they're excited to see that the world gets to spend time with the guy that they know. Other than leaving work at the door, no phone calls, no interviews, no text messages, no messages, nothing after 5 o'clock is absolutely key to a healthy relationship. And you know what? Keeping that happiness and that enthusiasm is actually quite easy when I keep myself rejuvenated and, you know, filled with love from my family. So I'm pretty much the same guy, in and out, on the camera, off the camera. I'm a fool. I'm a fool. Damien55K asks, have you ever thought about or ever ran hydro? No, I've never ran it. Definitely thought about it. In my opinion, it's one of the most effective and efficient ways to garden, but boy is it complicated. So I've just kind of avoided it altogether, but always up for a good adventure. It's Be Ya Dig asks, what are some unique or experiments you have done to train your plants? Have any of them stuck with you over time and became a main part of the way you grow? Yeah, you know what? You know, I've done the tip pot, I've done octopots, I've done upside down pots, I've done tomato pots. I feel like I've done all pots. I've smoked pot, and you know what? Of all things, I think I'm a scrogger now. I think I'm gonna be scrogging from now on, and I think that came from understanding that, you know, cannabis can be manipulated and really trained to your advantage, and the best way to do that is sideways. It's Be Ya Dig also asks, who was your first sponsor? Actually, this one's exciting for me because my very first sponsor was a friend of mine, Black Tie Cannabis, and you can actually check him out. I don't think I can actually give you the website, but you can Google it, maybe, allegedly. And speaking of the guy right there, well, he actually texted me. Imagine that. He's got an incredible store. It's a friend of mine. He supported the show when we had 100 subscribers. And it's crazy to think how far we've come since then. That was just a few short years ago. Oh, and look who calls right now. I was doing a video, bro. I was literally just talking about you. And sure enough, you called me and texted me. Somebody asked, who was your first sponsor? And I said, it was Black Tie Cannabis. And, well, look at that. Here you are. What a guy.
Funny how that works out. The universe, right?
The universe, you're right. Bro, I hope you're well, man.
Doing good too, man. It's so good to see you.
Thanks, brother. Thanks, brother. You keep well. I'm going to be playing out here in the creek.
Enjoy Enjoy your day.
Thanks,
Enjoy your
pal.
day. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, peace. And he also asks, do you ever sit and watch the beginning videos of when you first started recording? Absolutely not. They scare the living daylights out of me. Cannabis Express 420 on Twitter asks, how do I grow on YouTube faster while making cannabis content? I've been doing YouTube for about 3 years now and have accumulated over 570 subscribers and still get less than 50 views on average, even though I post consistently. Well, the problem with this is it's the content itself. It'll have nothing to do with the consistency, the quality of the thumbnails, the quality of the videos, the quality of nothing. Unlike any other, content on YouTube, cannabis content is naturally suppressed. It's in YouTube's own guidelines. The moment you show a plant in your video, the chances of it being suppressed or age restricted is the term that they like to use, is increased greatly. Now, not all channels face the same scrutiny or censorship equally or as other channels, and so it can be very difficult to kind of figure out how to fit yourself into the algorithm. I've kind of found a way to do so in such that involves using lifestyle, the benefits of using cannabis with just a small portion of plants being shown on the channel, and it's showing to work quite well, because I think I've figured out that if it's got plants in it, it's age restricted. It's going to get 2,000-3,000 views. If it doesn't, it's going to get a minimum of 6,000. That's just the way it goes. But my advice would be to not give up. Don't let YouTube or the platform really make you feel like you're not valuable. You are valuable, and what we are doing around here is valuable, and it will be seen that way in a matter of time. It's just we've got to go through the hard times to get to the good times, Scott Bear asks, tell me one thing you're grateful for that your previous generation left for you. I guess I would say it's the beautiful green earth and Mother Nature that's left for me to enjoy, with the way that forestry and the way that mining and the way that, we're really just destroying the earth in pursuit of natural resources. I'm kind of surprised that there's this much beautiful split space left for me to enjoy. So I guess that's one thing that I'm incredibly grateful for, and one thing that I'm going to take note of going to the next generation is how can I preserve this planet in such a way that will ensure that the previous generations or the next generations can enjoy it in ways that I got to enjoy it. And that's why I'm a huge fan of production of hemp and cannabis for the world. Justin Hayden asks, do you garden anything else besides cannabis? Tomatoes, pepper, basil, anything? No, I suck at gardening. I can't grow anything. I never seem to keep it alive long enough, but I do have a wild rose bush in my front yard that I've kind of turned into a project I've been working on for years. And it's, well, it's a wild rose bush, so it's kind of like a wild horse, it kind of just does things on its own accord, but I'm quite proud of it. Troy Brady asks, how tall is Pigeons 420? I assumed he was really tall for some reason. Taller than Chris and Rob. I don't care what anybody tells you. King 420 asks, why do you use cannabis? Well, I think I've kind of answered that amongst the other questions, but you know what? Makes me a better person, makes me healthier, stronger. I feel like I'm an optimal human being, keeping cannabinoids in my system that has been designed to receive cannabinoids. And, it's allowed me to pursue a lifestyle that otherwise would never have been possible with any other medication. Lack of pharmaceuticals and abundance of organics goes a long way. And I think that's my mission. That's my message to spread to the world. You can be a normal, well, whatever normal is, you can be the best that you can be, the highest, most optimal functioning human using cannabis. God, it got bright real fast. Here's one that I don't think it really gets talked about enough. Chaotic Rage asks, what do you tell your kid about your cannabis use? This one, quite honestly, is one that I think my answer has evolved over time quite a few different times. As my son gets older, he becomes a little more wiser, a little smarter, and he's starting to understand, that something happens downstairs or, to my dad that makes changes in him that seem to benefit everyone else. It's no secret that when I go and take my medication, I'm a little more creative, I'm a little more excited, I'm a little more enthusiastic, I'm a little more energized, and that's because, my medication really helps with a lot of ailments that I suffer from as I get older, and from putting my body through all kinds of different tortures as working through construction. But I want to be honest with him, because I don't think that hiding or sugarcoating anything is going to be to his benefit. I think being honest with him and explaining to him that this is a medication like anything else. No different than the way I take Tylenol, no different than you take cough syrup, no different than when you would take, Tums when your stomach's not feeling good. And that's something that I want him to understand, It's also turned into my job, It's also my career. I make a career, or I make a living off of sharing with other people the benefits of using cannabis, and really the liberties and opportunities it affords you by growing your own product. And he sees that. He's participated in it. He's watered my plants. He's helped me train the plants. He's helped me do all, manipulate them in many ways. He sees the garden. He sees that I spend a lot of time there. So there isn't anything for me to be afraid of. There's no reason that I need to not be forthcoming. I think that that's an injustice to him. It would be a disservice to his growth and his education if I didn't address it exactly for what it's worth. He's 11 years old, and we've always been very forthcoming. It's always been something that's been around. I don't use it in front of him. We have a room, it's the studio you guys are all familiar with. That's where all the use happens. Seldomly maybe we'll go and blaze a blunt or joint outside, but that's very seldom. And if we do that, it's not something we share around him. It doesn't mean that I'm hiding it. It's just, I don't celebrate the fact that I take Tylenol. I don't celebrate the fact that I take cough medicine. It's something that just happens in the bathroom, when you're not feeling well. And I treat cannabis no different. So I think this is a great point of conversation. I think it's one that we need to have more often, so that, as a whole, our generation can help set the next generation up for success. And for the record, I do not condone childhood use of cannabis for anything other than medical reasons. And all this shit that I see going around on Twitter in regards to people giving children blunts and pipes and watching them smoke it, that's child abuse. And I think that you should be reporting that at any and all opportunities, because that's uncalled for. Cannabis is a medication for children, but there's no child that should be smoking cannabis. Zero. None. Nada. I don't stand behind that, and I don't think you should too. Beth asks, Pigeons, what do you do with your leftover soil after harvest? I feel like this doesn't get asked. I actually use it to level out my grass, my yard, if you will. I just take the extras, I sort it amongst my lawn, and any kind of flat spots or divots, I use it to fill it in. Works great.
Catch you on the flip side. Maybe we can be friends when you're not so fragile.
I want to thank you guys. Oh, I really do. I want to thank you guys for supporting me, for watching this video. If you made it this far through, you're a real one. I appreciate you guys always supporting me, motivating me. Even when I didn't think I could do it, you guys were there for me to remind me that, you know what, there's a purpose, there's a reason, and to stay motivated. And that's exactly what I'm doing, and that's exactly what I'm going to try to remind you guys to do when you're having a hard day, or life's looking like it's piling shit on just way too high. I'm going to remind you to see the light through the shit, and to work for it, and to hustle, and to strive, and to just prove to yourself that you're worth it. You're worth every minute of your time, even though you may not feel like it sometimes. But don't forget what's important to you. Family, friends, those are the ones that matter the most. And that's something that I've really grown to appreciate and learn over the last, say, 10, 11 years. And it's something that I've really grown to see with my own eyes as my son's been born. So I've got a long way to go. I'm not as good as I'm gonna be. I'm better than I was, but I thank you guys, and I seriously thank cannabis for that, because it's changed my life for so many positive ways. And the least I can try to do is try to pass that on to somebody, So don't give up, friends. Don't give up. It's time to get out of here. I gotta head back. I gotta walk through a few creeks, go through a few bushes. I gotta put my shoes back on. Here we go.